Macmillan Audio presents The Sunless Countries, Book 4 of Virga, by Karl Schroeder. Read for you by Joyce, Irvine, and David Thorn.
1. When Leal shut off the engine, the whole world went away. Sight, sound, and touch fled into darkness, leaving only the sighing of her own breath. The touch of the pilot's seat faded as her weightless body drifted away from it. Leal kept her long fingers on the starter key for a few seconds, as if she might never find it again once she let go. She glanced down at the reassuring radium glow of the instrument panel. Then, hesitantly, she reached out to unseal the pilot's canopy. Straining, she swung it up and back, letting in a puff of cold air scented with ice. There was barely a breeze against her face. That was not good. According to the gyrocompass, her little cutter should have been making a good 20 knots. She should have felt as much breeze on her face. That she didn't meant either that she had entered a mass of air that was moving that fast itself, or her instruments were wrong. "Come on," she muttered, leaning out of the canopy and craning her neck for any hint of light. The headlight might be piercing the air for hundreds of feet, yet she saw absolutely nothing, not even a mote of dust sparkling in the dark. "Where are you?" Her city, Seer, should have appeared by now. Even if its glittering wheels of wheels wasn't directly visible, Leal should at least be seeing a red and blue brightening in the air every 3 seconds or so, as the outlier beacons flashed in their turning. She should hear distant ringing and honking, the grumbling of industry. If the whole city were embedded in cloud, she should at least hear foghorns. Damn! It wasn't a long journey from her hometown to the capital, 3 hours, and she made the round trip every weekend. This wouldn't be the first journey where Leal had let her eyes drift away from the endless wavering length of rope that stretched between town to city. Always in the past, she had come upon the city by sheer inertia and sloppy, dead reckoning. It was hard to miss the biggest, noisiest, smelliest mass of humanity for 400 miles. Of course, if you did miss it, you were, as the dock boys would say, royally screwed. The absolute darkness was familiar but unnerving. Leal fished around under her seat and found a gas lantern. She brought it out, and the key said zick, zick, as she wound it with steady fingers. This was the only sound, except for the faint ping of the engine's metal parts cooling. She thumbed the striker plate, and the little cascade of sparks lit the wick. The sudden white light was intolerable. She shielded her eyes as she held it out and away from herself. Leal clipped it to a ring on the open canopy and turned to look at her passenger. "It's okay," she told her. "Just a snag, that's all." The doll's porcelain features reflected back arcs of highlight from the lantern. 2 huge seat belts crisscrossed its torso, pressing it against the cutter's passenger seat. "You're so full of it," she imagined the doll saying. "Yeah, maybe," she muttered, turning back to the empty view. The cutter was dart-shaped. Leal sat in a fuselage shaped like a seed pod, with a spar sticking out behind that ended in the jet and 4 big vanes she could turn to steer the vessel. You could tie baggage and extra fuel to the spar. But right now Leal had nothing but a couple of suitcases back there. The cutter had maybe 2 hours of fuel left. She was quite unprepared for being lost. She was getting angry, not at herself for her inattention, but at her mother for obstinately refusing to spend her last days in the city where she could have gotten decent care. "It's not that I like it here," Mother had said during their last conversation. Impossibly, already 6 months ago. "It's just that city."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?